The parts I'll be using in this build are AMD Ryzen 9 7950X, an AM5 16-core and 32-thread CPU. I opted for the non-3D variant as the 3D version seems to have some stability and compatibility issue with some applications. I don't think I need to talk about the specs of the CPU too much, as there are plenty of reviews out there doing in-depth benchmark of it. However, I will leave the basic spec on screen for those who are interested. For motherboard, I decided to go with the Gigabyte X670E Aorus Master EATX. For RAM, I decided to go with the Silicon Power 64GB DDR5 CL30 Zenith 6000 Megatransfer 2-stick kit. The reason I went with the 64GB is due to the large RAM demand for video editing. From research, it seems that the CL30 is the best price to performance timings for the Ryzen CPU. This kit supports both XMP3 and AMD Expo, which make overclocking easy. I also considered the Trident Neo kit, but this kit was on sale at the time of purchase, so I decided to give them a try. I have never purchased anything from Silicon Power before, aside from some low-end SSDs. So I wanted to see how this brand performs. I kept it at a 2-stick configuration, as using 4 sticks in any new AMD or Intel CPU put a lot of stress on the memory controller, which will cause instability and potentially making the PC unable to boot. As for hard drive, I am reusing my 3 NVMe drives. Each is 2TB using PCIe Gen 4. I won't be able to utilize the Gen 5 speed with them, but I don't think I need that speed yet. For the cooler, I went with the Noctua NHD15. As for fans, I kept my current Vardar fan from EK. They perform great and I did not want to spend more money on different fans. I have them configured as 3 in the front for intake and 3 on the top for exhaust. For power supplies, I kept my existing 1200 watt Corsair. This power supply does not have the new PCIe plug, so I ended up using the power adapter that came with my Gigabyte RTX 4090. I also have the Singularity computer power board specifically made for the Corsair 5000D case. This power board really helps cable management. It was a bit pricey, but I think it is worth it to keep your PC free of cable mess. Now that we got the parts out of the way, I will be going over the performance of this new setup compared to my previous CPU, the AMD 3950X. There will be some gaming benchmark and we'll see how Davinci Resolve performs with the new hardware. I'll also provide some power consumption metrics to help those who are interested in power savings. With that said, enjoy the montage. I did not want to run any synthetic benchmark for this review. as I believe that giving real-world usage of tasks I actually do will be more useful and relatable. For games, I do see an improvement in FPS in most games. Keep in mind that I like to max out all the graphic settings for the eye candy. All of these tasks are performed in ultra-wide resolution 3440 by 1440. Here's a breakdown of the game I tested versus the 3950X. As for Davinci Resolve, playing the timeline with a decent amount of effects, color grading, and audio adjustment seems to be much better than the 3950X. Davinci Resolve can use a GPU to do most of the heavy lifting. The faster CPU definitely helps with timeline playback. There is definitely less stuttering, especially around the portion with a lot of transition and animation. Rendering time is where I see the most improvement. The rendering time reduced on the 7950X by about 6 minutes for the same video rendered on the 3950X. Measurements are all made using a wall socket power meter. And here's the breakdown. On idle, the system consumed around 199 watts. Highest system draw I saw was 604 watts running Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark. The Noctua NHD15 does a good job keeping the temp well below the 95-degree throttle limit. Even under the most demanding test, the highest I saw it went up to was about 90 degrees Celsius. I have the 7950X on per CCX boost, and I see that the CPU has no issue boosting to or beyond the 5.7 GHz advertised speed using hardware monitor. Of course, this is just for per core boost, not all of them at the same time. As this is the new AM5 platform, DDR5 RAM is a requirement. However, since AMD will be releasing more iteration for the AM5 platform, this upgrade will be future-proof as I can simply buy the new CPU when it releases and pop it into the same motherboard. In conclusion, with the increase in performance in every game that I play, the reduced rendering time in Davinci Resolve, on top of being more power efficient, the upgrade is definitely worth it. Even though it came with the high cost of adopting a new platform, having the new RAM and motherboard means that I will be ready for the next AM5 CPU upgrade in the future. I hope this review will help some of you thinking of upgrading your PC make that decision. If this video was helpful to you, please hit that like and subscribe button, it would help us a lot. With that said, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.